Are you a music maker wanting to make this year your best year yet for your music? Maybe you want to improve your skills, grow your streams, start getting syncs, or build up your royalties. Well, my name's Christian Hale, and in this video, I'm going to break down for you the 4 things I'm focusing on this year in my own music career. I believe that the mindset shifts I'm about to lay out for you will help you start thinking different and put you in a position to take things to a whole new level this year. Well, if you're wondering who the heck I am and why you should listen to me about any of this, the answer is you probably shouldn't. I'm just some dude with a YouTube channel, so go ahead and click off this video. But if you do want to stick around, I'm a producer-songwriter here in Nashville, Tennessee. Around 10 years ago now, I dropped out of college with no money to my name and no inside connections to the music industry. But over the course of time, I built up a multiple 6-figure per year business as a producer-songwriter, with my music amassing a whole bunch of streams, going viral on social media, and even being licensed for TV and film by many of the world's leading brands and networks. I created this channel to help you do 2 things: make better music and make more money from your music. As we get into this, I do have a free gift I want to give you. It's called my Music Maker's Financial Freedom Framework PDF. You can find that link down in the description below, so definitely go grab that, and we'll get to that a little later in this video. But without any further ado, let's get into it and start talking about how we can succeed together in music this year. So move number 1 I'm making this year is to stop giving my power to the machine. What the heck does this mean? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm here to let you know. So I recently listened to a podcast that I love. It's called the Songwriter Soup Podcast. You should go check that out if you're not familiar with it. And they recently interviewed legendary songwriter Tom Douglas. If you don't know who Tom Douglas is, you should definitely go check him out. But Tom is in his 70s, still in the game writing songs, and just has so much wisdom from his years of doing the songwriter thing. Well, in the interview with Tom, he talked about this concept of not giving his power to the machine. And honestly, it was such an eye-opener, mindset shift, game changer for me, and I want to pass this along to you because I think it can really help. Tom talked about this in his context of being a songwriter signed to a music publisher, but I think this applies all across the music industry. So Tom talked about how he's actually stayed with one music publisher for the lion's share of his music career. And if you don't know about how publishing deals work with signed songwriters, it's pretty common for a songwriter to be in a publishing deal for 3 or 4 years and then maybe go try to leverage that and renegotiate and go work with another company, and then do that for 3 or 4 years and leverage and renegotiate with another company and go hop around from place to place. Maybe because there actually is a better publisher, or maybe because there's a perception from the songwriter that there's something shiny, new, and better out there. And what Tom said is, he said, I feel like that mindset of hopping around from place to place to place just gives too much power to the machine. What that's saying subconsciously is, hey, this publisher over here is my answer. This company over here is my ticket. And what Tom says, and I think it's so true, is that the songs do all the work. It's not some music industry. It's not some magic guy at some magic company that's going to be the thing that's responsible for you and is going to be the thing that blows up your career or takes your career to the next level. It's going to be you. It's going to be your skill set. It's going to be your songs, your music. That's going to be the thing that does the work for you and takes your career to the next level and opens new doors for you. And in this episode, Laura Veltz, who's the host of Songwriter Soup, she's a hit songwriter herself, she said, Tom, I hear what you're saying, but I have a whole bunch of friends who are signed songwriters, and their publishers just fill their days with crap sessions. They don't work their songs. They don't do anything for them. And Tom said, this is exactly what I'm talking about of not giving your power to the machine. Instead of being mad at your publisher for not creating opportunities for you, put the ownership on yourself as the songwriter to go write songs that are so undeniably good and so undeniably next level that the people, your teams around you, your publisher in this example, has no choice but to not go work your songs because what you're giving them is so good. And when I heard this was an eye-opener, game changer, mindset shift for me. Again, I think hearing this from a guy in his 70s that just has years and years and years of wisdom that is far beyond me. There's something about listening to people like that. And that's my biggest focus this year, honestly, is not giving too much power to the machine. You know, I've been talking about the established songwriter Tom Douglas and people in music publishing deals, but I think the same exact thing is so true and so applicable to maybe you who's maybe earlier on in your music career. Maybe you're sitting in a town in the middle of America or the middle of Europe or Australia, wherever you're watching this video from right now, and you think that, man, this company over over here, if I could just get in touch with this label or this publisher or this distributor or this producer, depending on what your role is, that this person is going to be the ticket to blow up my music career. And as somebody that's been in the game for a while now, I've been signed to music publishing deals, distribution deals, sync deals. Like I've been fortunate to partner with a whole bunch of people that are amazing and good at what they do. I'm here to tell you that they're not going to be the answer to your music career. The thing that's going to take your music career to the next level this year is your work, your songs, getting better at production, getting better at songwriting, getting better at mixing. You're the ticket to your success. And I'm trying to realize and remind myself of this year, my hard work, me bringing it every single day, getting better at songwriting, getting better at production, doing the best work I possibly can, creating songs that are going to go out, like Tom said, and do the work for me. That's what's going to take things to the next level for me this year in my career. Not giving my power to the machine, thinking that this person's the problem, this company's the answer, and all of that. And I do want to say that I don't think what Tom is saying is to stay in a crap deal forever or even enter into a crap agreement for the first place. There's times for relationships to change and deals to move on and for you to find new partners. I don't think that's the point of this, but the point is just, again, to put the ownership on yourself, your own ability, your own work ethic. So that's thing number one I am focusing on this year, and I would love for you to focus on too, because I believe it can really help. And since I've started thinking about this, I'm already noticing a difference, and that is not giving too much power to the machine. Focus and mindset shift number 2 for me this year is high quality over everything. You know, we've all heard the stats and the analytics that a bajillion new songs are uploaded onto Spotify every single day. And honestly, one of the beautiful things about the music industry is there's fewer barriers for entry than ever before. You and I can go start an artist project tomorrow and get our music on Apple Music and Spotify and Amazon, the same places that the major labels get the top artists in the world. But because of that, there's no barriers for entry, so there's more competition than ever before. So because of that, I believe the thing that's going to make your music stand out this year and in the future years beyond this year is high quality music above everything else. Because you can go get your music in the same places as the world's top artists, remember, you're competing against the top artists in the world. So one thing you should objectively ask yourself when you're making a song, whether you're the mixer mixing the song, producer producing the song, songwriter writing the song, is go listen to the top songs in the world out there and objectively, honestly ask yourself, is this song, mix, production, whatever it is, as good as the top music in the world out there? Like, if you're trying to go write a pop banger, is it as good as Sabrina Carpenter Espresso? Like, honestly, objectively. And if your music isn't that good, that's okay, but I would encourage you not to lower your bar, but instead raise your standard for yourself and figure out, okay, what's the difference between Espresso, for example, and my song right here, and what do I need to do to raise it up to that standard? So I really want to encourage you to commit yourself to quality above everything else this year. You know, in my business, one of the things I'm doing to commit myself to this year is I'm actually making a little less music than I have in previous years, and I'm just really driving myself to that high standard, you know, putting the ownership of myself, not giving the power to the machine, and creating really, really high quality music. So practically for me, I'm going to write, produce, mix, and master on average one song a week this year in 2025. You know, for some of you watching, that might not seem like very much music. For others of you, that might seem like a lot of music. In past years, I've written maybe 2 to 3 songs a week on average and produced more than that. And, you know, some of those are home runs. They're great. And others of those aren't so great. But this year, I just really want every single song I work on to be at the highest quality. I want to be proud of it at the end of the year or 2 or 3 years down the road when I listen back and honestly be able to say, like, yeah, that work is really good for what I was trying to do. So let's commit ourselves to high quality above anything else this year. That's move number 2. Move and mindset shift number 3 is to play the long game and remember consistency over time. You know, in the intro of this video, I gave the hero story of I started out, you know, dead broke, college dropout, which is so true. And then I built up a nice little sustainable music business where I'm fortunate, where it's really the only full-time job I've had and I can live fully off my royalty streams. It's amazing. If you want to know how I did that, it was consistency over time. Building a music catalog over time. You know, something I see with people so often is they wrote 1 song or 2 songs or 3 songs or maybe even 5 or 10 songs, and they're like, cool, like time for my career to go blow up. Like, just to shoot you straight, in the 10 years I've been doing this now, I've written hundreds. I've worked on I know over 1,000 songs, probably several thousand songs between various roles. I've written probably not 1,000 songs yet, but I know I'm getting close to that. So just know that professional songwriters are writing hundreds of songs per year. Professional producers are in the studio working on music every single day. So if you want to get to the point where you're making good money from music, if you want to get to the point where your streams are growing, if you want to get to the point where you're starting to achieve some of those career goals you've set out yourself here in the music industry, know that one song isn't going to do it for you. It's going to be a game of consistency over time. You know, one of the beautiful things about music is every single song is an opportunity for you to get better at your craft. Every time I go mix a song, I'm trying to learn something new that I can bring into the next mix I do to get me even better at my skill set. Or every time I co-write a song, I want to walk away at the end of the day with the best song I possibly can, but I want to learn something new from a songwriter who's maybe better than me at something to start bringing into my own workflow. So as you work on music this year, start learning, start treating every day and everything you work on as an opportunity to get better, create skill sets, and become prolific at your craft that will serve you over the course of time. One other thing I'm doing with this, and this is where my financial freedom framework, which again, you can find linked down in the description below or over on my website, comes into play, is in this framework, I talk about short-term money, medium-term money, and long-term money. And this year, I'm focused almost exclusively not on short-term money, but more medium-term money that in the framework becomes long-term money. And click on that PDF to get it to learn a little bit more about that. But essentially, I am done for the most part, unless I choose to, trading my time for money, taking on crap clients I don't want to take on to get a paycheck. Mixing songs I don't want to mix, producing songs I don't want to produce. You can make great money doing that. I know guys that do multiple six figures per year doing that, producing crap they're not passionate about, but you always have to trade your time for money in order to sustain that lifestyle. Where I want to put my focus on instead, and this is just another way to look at that consistency over time, playing the long game thing, is I have a bulk of royalty streams in what I call the midterm bucket right here. Again, it all makes sense if you go check out the framework, but I am more interested in just over time doubling that midterm royalty bucket and then tripling and quadrupling that. And a lot of times what that means is saying no to things in the short term that pay you money so that then you can go bet on yourself and incrementally just start growing your royalty streams and your revenue streams. So maybe you're watching this and you just got to go do whatever you got to go do to pay rent and keep the lights on. That's cool. You should do that. I've been there before. I'm not telling you to go neglect your responsibilities, but start creating time in your day, in your week, in your month to work at those higher levels, to start thinking long-term, having something to work towards, building up your royalty streams and revenue streams that can eventually be sold and that eventually you can live on fully without having to go out and do client work or a day job or things you don't want to do. You know, one more thing with this consistency and long game point, and this is honestly so hard for me as somebody that's fairly calculated and likes to maximize my time, be productive, but almost for a time, turn your mind off of the results of what you're doing. The thing about the music industry is it can just kick you in the pants at times. Like, you can objectively show up and write a song that is every bit as good as a hit song and produce your mind off and mix it as good as you can and even have a label and a team and promotion and budget around it. And sometimes those songs come out and completely flop. And does that make me, if I'm the producer or songwriter or mixer involved in that production, does that make me a bad producer all of a sudden? Is my identity all of a sudden of crap, now I suck? No, I don't think it is. I think that it's just, I know from experience being in this game and having lots of friends that are too, in order for something to have commercial success outside of your studio, or in order to get a sync placement or get streams on Spotify, there are so many stars that have to align that are frankly out of my control. So I am this year really focusing on the craft of, with that consistency over time, with that long game, going in, bringing my best every day, doing the song for whatever the outlet is, and then borderline forgetting about it and borderline not giving a crap about the results. Because if you get fixated on the results of every single song, everything you work on, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And again, it's not about one song. It's not about two songs. It's about building a catalog of songs that all incrementally over time can pay you, that you can live on. You know, the beautiful thing that I think about my business is I don't have one giant mega hit song that's paying me 90% of my income. I've had some songs do better than others. I've had some songs make a little bit of money, but I don't have one giant huge hit that I'm fully reliant on. It's been an incremental incremental consistency over time of making no money in royalties a month to $100, $200, $500, $1,000 a month, so on and so forth. So I'm here to tell you, slow and steady wins the race. You get better at the skill set, you get better at the craft as you go. So that's step number 3, consistency over time and playing the long game. And mindset shift and focus number 4 is strategic focus in everything. You know, one thing I want you to think about this year in your own music making is, what's your superpower? What's the thing that you do better than anyone else? You may do 10 things, but all your friends are like, yeah, you're good at all of it. But when you do this one thing, people seem to really respond and resonate with it. Figure out what that is for you. Maybe ask some friends, ask some collaborators, do some alone soul searching. Think about what it is you enjoy. Find those 1 or 2 things, and then I want you to double down on that this year. When I talked a little bit ago about having a quota of doing a song a week this year, I really broke that down and looked at, okay, what's working for me in my business right now? What do I enjoy? What do I feel like I'm better at than all the other things I do? And I want to spend my time and focus and attention on that this year. For me, I want to know at the beginning of a day or at the beginning of a week, okay, I'm writing a song for this week that's going to go to this sync company or that sync company, or is a collaboration with an artist friend of mine and it'll have a life and outlet on Spotify, or it's for my own artist project that's going to have a life on Spotify. There are so many things we can't control, but one of the things we can control is our intention and our focus. So I want to be more strategic this year than ever before. Still borderline ignoring the results, like I talked about a few minutes ago, of give it my best focus, give it my best effort, go bring it, and then be hands off with it, see what happened. But I do want to bring a high level of focus and intention into my music this year, and I would highly encourage you guys to do the same thing. Find out what it is you do better than anyone else, what your magic sauce is, what your secret power is, and double down on that. So those are the 4 things I'm focusing on in my music business this year. I'm going to quit giving my power to the machine. I'm going to put high quality above anything else. I'm going to play the long game with consistency over time. I'm going to have strategic focus in every single thing I do. Again, as somebody that started from the bottom and incrementally, consistently over time, built up a nice little sustainable music business as a producer and songwriter, if you put your focus and intention on these few action steps and then are disciplined enough to implement them into your daily, weekly, monthly routine, you'll start seeing success in your music business this year. You know, I'm just like so many of you watching, trying to get a little bit better at the art and craft of making music. I'm always trying to get smarter, learn something new, watch YouTube videos like this, or maybe better YouTube videos than this, from people who are smarter than me, to try to just get little advantages, get better at the art and craft of doing this music thing. Honestly, guys, we're in this together. We're all at different parts of our journey, but I have friends that are ahead of me. I have friends that maybe aren't quite where I am. And like, truly, from having this conversation with people in the music business, we're all just trying to take that next step, get a little bit better, get a little bit smarter. So here's to making this year our best year yet with music. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hope this video brought you lots of value, and we'll see you back here on the channel real soon.